Hey, this is Austin Taylor from Provo Bike Collective. Today I'm going to talk to you about the tools and things that you should have if you're going to be riding your bike every day. And I'll be talking about the basic maintenance to prevent problems on your bicycle. So first, let's talk about the stuff that you need. I tell people the most important thing to have is a good bike lock. A good bike lock is generally a U-lock. It has a steel bolt. It opens with a key. And you would be, if you only have this lock, you would lock the frame and whatever you're locking it to, something fixed that people can't steal. Always stay away from cable locks as your primary lock because cable locks can be cut much easier than a U-lock. The second thing that you need to have with your bike is a good set of lights. This is important because it'll keep you safe. If you're riding before sunrise, after sunset, you need to have lights by US law and then for common sense for your safety. The third thing that you need to have is a good helmet that fits you well. A good helmet should feel snug but not tight. If you bend over, it shouldn't fall off your head even if it's unclipped. And then when you strap it on, you want to make sure that it's tight enough that it won't go anywhere if you get in a crash. The fourth thing you want if you're going to be biking in a cold area is a hat to cover your ears and head and gloves to cover your hands because these areas will get a lot of wind when you're riding your bike. Fifth, to keep your bike maintained, you're going to want some chain lube, and I'll discuss how to use this later. Sixth, when you get a flat tire, you're going to want a way to fix it on the go. So to do that, you're going to need a patch kit that has patches, glue, sandpaper. You need tire levers and a hand pump that can inflate the tire after you patch it. Lastly, number 7, you want a multi-tool. Tools like this have lots of different tools that are common on the bicycle, and you never know when you're going to need one of these. Now I'm going to talk to you about the 3 most important maintenance tips for taking care of your bicycle. Number 1 is keep your bike locked and safe. When you're not using it, your bike needs to be somewhere safe where people aren't going to steal it. The best place to keep your bicycle is inside your house. And that's because it's kept out of the weather and kept out of the vision of thieves. Second, if you can't keep it inside of your house, you'll want to lock it somewhere covered so that it's out of the weather but still safe. The second maintenance tip is that you need to inflate your tires weekly, if not daily. On the sidewall of your tires, it will tell you how much pressure you should have. So my tires right here tell me the max inflation is 55 pounds per square inch. So when you're inflating your tires, you'll want to take off the valve cap, connect the pump, and depending on the type of valve you have, if your pump has 2 holes, you'll stick the small, what's called Presta valve, into the smaller hole, or if you have the bigger Schrader valve, which is more common, you'll stick it into the bigger hole of the pump. Some pumps are universal and they'll take both. Now when you're inflating it, remember the pressure that you decided on and pump it up to that pressure, and then go ahead and give it a little squeeze, feel it. Remember what that feels like, so then when you're pumping it up in the future, if you don't have a pump with a gauge, you know about where you should pump it up to. And then when you're done, make sure to screw the valve cap back on so that it stays nice and clean. The third important maintenance tip is that you need to keep your drivetrain system clean and lubricated. Now what the drivetrain is the chain rings, the chain, the cassette, and the derailleurs. You'll notice that all of it is metal, and of course metal on metal creates a lot of friction when it's spinning. So every 2 weeks to a month, depending on how the weather is, you want to clean it and lubricate it. Now what I'm going to be showing you, first I'll clean it. I'm using a professional grade degreaser. If you don't have this, dish soap and water does a great job. So I will spin the chain and spray some on. And then I'll take a rag that I don't care about, maybe an old t-shirt, old shirt, pants, whatever you cut up. And I'll go ahead and spin the chain as I hold it. And if your chain is dirty like mine, you'll notice all sorts of gunk coming off of it. That's a great thing. Okay, once it's fairly clean and you rub your hands on it and they don't get dirty, again, you'll want to wipe off other things like derailleur, especially these wheels. And then the chain rings, they can get dirty too. Right? And you'll notice that the chain will be a lot shinier after you clean it. Now, once you've gotten to a point where you think it's okay or it's pretty clean, then you'll want to take your chain lube, shake it up, and as you're spinning it, just let it drop onto the chain. So once the chain is sufficiently coated, again, you want to be pretty liberal with it. Coat it pretty well. Take the rag and wipe off the excess chain lubricant. The reason we're doing this is so that it's not wet and doesn't attract dirt when you're riding. If you don't wipe off the excess lubricant, your chain will get dirtier quicker. So in the end, your chain will be clean, lubricated. You'll notice that it'll shift a lot better, and this whole system here will last hundreds of miles longer. Now, I showed you this on a professional bike stand. Most of the times at home, you're not going to have something like this. So what you can do instead is flip the bike over and work on it upside down.